What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to go live today just to talk a little bit about the Raiders, and I also wanted to answer some of your guys' questions. A lot of you guys asked me a ton of questions. I guess before we even get into it, I don't even know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Can someone let me know in the comments below if you guys can hear me? Once I see a comment that you guys can hear me, then we'll jump right into this. Okay. Perfect. So I think you guys can hear me. All right, perfect. I appreciate it. Obviously, there's a lag between me actually talking and you guys actually reading the comments because I kind of stood around for like 15 seconds. But all right, so first and foremost, why am I live streaming? You guys know I typically do not go live. But I wanted to go live today because a lot of you guys have been asking me questions about the Raiders. A lot of you guys are, I wouldn't say the word worried is the correct term. I love the Raiders, and I know you guys love the Raiders too. And oftentimes there's some issues that are popping up with the Raiders, right? Especially with like the whole cap situation. Well, at least in the past it was the cap situation. More recently, it's been the fact that we got rid of like most of our offensive linemen. I put this out in a Raiders chat that I'm in here that, hey, I'm going to go live today. Let me know some questions. So I got 4 or 5 questions. We'll get into those in a little bit. If some of you guys have questions, make sure to ask those questions. I'm going to try to go through the chat. It is kind of hard to go through the chat. So if you leave a super chat, that's greatly appreciated. And I will absolutely get to every single super chat questions. But I'm going to expect that there probably won't be any super chats. Who knows? With that, I'm going to try to read through your guys' questions anyways. But yeah, today I basically wanted to go live just to talk about the Raiders, man. And by the way, some of you guys have asked me about this sweater specifically. If you guys didn't watch my Max Crosby interview, basically this is Max Crosby's merchandise. So if you guys are interested in it, go to his website and go buy yourself a sweater. There's a bunch of good sweaters out there. I'm actually doing a giveaway of his sweater. It'll probably be on Instagram or Twitter, maybe on YouTube. YouTube's a little bit harder to do giveaways because there's like 20,000 people on here. And shout out to all of you guys for getting me to 20,000. I really appreciate it. But yeah, this is a Max Crosby sweater. I think it's dope because it's like, it looks like it's like the arms and then it has like the M in it as well as the X. I dig this sweater a lot, right? Like I think the design of it's cool. It's supposed to be Max Crosby with his arms out like this, right? But yeah, man, I want to jump into this and I want to discuss some Raiders stuff, man. First and foremost, a lot of you guys have been asking me what's going on with the Raiders. Should we be worried about the offensive line, right? Let me actually fix something here really quickly before we start talking about this. Okay, I don't know if that's going to do anything there, but all right, let's jump into this. So, a lot of you guys have been asking me about the offensive line and just in general about the Raiders, and I want to discuss this, man. It's important. The number one question is the offensive line going to be okay, right? Like, is the Raiders' offensive line, are we screwed, right? Basically, is the question you guys have been asking me, especially with the fact that when you get rid of a great offensive line like we've had in the past, and then you're trying to tell Derek, hey man, you're out there, you're gonna have to do more than what you were given in the last couple of years from an offensive line perspective, and you might have to get the ball out quicker. Well, let's talk about that, right? Because we know that the Raiders have brought in a center, right? Nick Martin came in from the Texans. He was a starter. I think he was there for 4 seasons or maybe longer than that. And he started in a couple of seasons. And he even got a fat contract, right? I think he signed like a 3-year extension up to, I don't know the exact amount. I think 3 years, 33 million. Don't quote me on that. But he got a lot of money with the Texans. And the thing is he's a good player and the Texans believed in him. Now, he did in the past play guard as well, so don't throw that out of the question. Nick Martin in the NFL only played center, but at Notre Dame, which is where he went to school, he was a guard. So with that, the Raiders could possibly put Nick Martin at guard as well. And some of you guys have talked about this with me. The Raiders haven't brought in any offensive line. At least not a true right tackle. The closest we brought into a right tackle is we re-signed Denzel Good, and a lot of you guys are saying, well, Denzel Good is basically a guard, right? He's not a tackle. But if you guys remember last year, obviously Richie was out most of all of last year. Denzel Good played left guard last year for us most of the season. But in one game specifically, he played right guard. And in another game specifically, he played right tackle. I remember both Brandon Parker and Sam Young were struggling at right tackle. I think Sam Young even might have even went out with an injury. And then Denzel Good played right tackle in that one game. Denzel Good could theoretically play right tackle. The question I'd ask you guys is, do you guys think he could be a good enough right tackle, right? Let's say he gives up 4 sacks. Let's say he plays right tackle throughout the whole entire year. And then let's say he gives up 4 sacks. Is that good enough? Is that bad? Like, is that something you guys would be okay with? Giving up 4 sacks, it's definitely a lot of sacks to give up. But I don't think it would be too horrible. Like, I'd be okay with that, right? If Denzel Good did play right tackle, again, I'd be perfectly fine with that. At the same time, the Raiders can still draft the right tackle. There's a shit ton of good tackles in this draft class. Now, if you guys don't know this about me, I love the draft, man. Like, I can't explain it to you guys enough how much I'm into the draft. It's like, outside of the Raiders, my other passion is the draft. I watch film of like pretty much every player that I can watch film of. As much time as I can put into it, I watch film. And I'm telling you guys right now, just on top of my head, you have Penei Sewell, who was the tackle from Oregon. He's a likely top 10 pick. Then you have Tevin Jenkins of Oklahoma State. You have Rashawn Slater of Northwestern. You have who's the other ones? USC has a tackle / guard. There's a couple of other good ones as well, right? Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech. Spencer Brown. There's a lot of good tackles in this draft. And the thing is the Raiders don't have to take one in the first round, like, at all. We can wait until the second round. I don't know exactly when our second round pick is. I think we have like the 47th pick. Don't quote me on that, but we can wait until the second round if we really wanted to, right? I did a film study of Samuel Cosmi, who is the tackle of Texas A&M. Yeah, Texas A&M. If you guys don't know, I have a second channel. Basically, you can just Google Sanjit, or you just put it into YouTube and it'll come up. But basically, I break down college football players, right? 100% all college. I did a Justin Fields video that I uploaded yesterday. I love Justin Fields, my number 1 quarterback, by the way, if I haven't already stated that. But as far as like tackles, there's so many good tackles. You can take a second round tackle and still have a guy that could be your tackle for the next 10 years. The hope is that the Raiders take a tackle with the 17th overall pick. And am I worried about the offense line? I'm not worried at all about the offense line, right? We've had the best pass blocking offense line for a long time, right? Or at least one of the top offense lines from a pass blocking perspective. But where we struggle is run blocking. Our run blocking is kind of bad, right? I know that. You guys all know that. The run blocking has not been there. Because the run blocking has not been there, the Raiders wanted to get cheaper. And I've been stating this like over and over and over and over again. I've stated that the Raiders have to get cheaper with the offensive line. We weren't able to have that success running the football. A lot of you guys agree with me. Some of you guys disagree with me, which I 100% am okay with people who disagree with me. It's not a big deal. But I don't think paying your offense line a shit ton of money is really worth it, especially with the success that we had the last couple of seasons, right? I'd say the last 2 seasons. Even though Josh Jacobs' rookie year we balled out, it was apparent that not only can that group really not stay healthy, right? Like with Trent Brown, he's missed games both of the last 2 seasons. Gabe Jackson's missed games, right? Obviously, Richie Incognito's up there in age. He's missed time as well. Plus, you got to consider the fact that Colton Miller is going to be owed a ton of money in the short term, right? So yeah, am I worried about the offensive line? I am not, right? And here's the thing: we have Nick Martin and Andre James. One of those guys will be our center, right? For sure, one of those guys will be the center. So outside of center and your two tackle positions, I'm not worried at all about the guard positions. The guard position is very easily replaceable, in my personal opinion, right? Our center spot, I'm not worried about. It's going to be Andre James or it's going to be Nick Martin, and I have 100% confidence in both of those guys. I thought about doing a film study of Nick Martin, but I decided not to do it. I might still do it this week, right? We'll kind of see how the news is coming out. So I might still do that, but basically, the Raiders are going to be fine, right? Left tackle's locked down, Colton Miller. Left guard, we'll really see. Right now, it is Richie Incognito's spot to lose. He won't lose it. He's going to be the starter. I guess the only way Richie doesn't play left guard is if he gets hurt. Center, Andre James or Nick Martin. Right guard, right now, it does look like it's going to be Denzel Good, but that could always change, right? Like Nick Martin has played guard in the past. So maybe Nick Martin plays right guard and Denzel Good plays right tackle. Maybe the Raiders are fine with Brandon Parker playing right tackle and then Denzel Good plays right guard. Either way, I'm confident that our offensive line is not going to be an issue at all. Now, I have more worry about the secondary, right? There's a bigger worry in my brain that the secondary is not going to be there. All right. Obviously, we have Jonathan Abram, and then we have our corners. I'm fine with the corners, even the slot corner position. Like, I'm not worried at all that will Amik Robertson be ready? Would we have another slot corner potentially step in? What are we going to do? Like, I have no worries about that at all. The position I'm worried about is the free safety position, the Earl Thomas role, right? Gus Bradley needs his Earl Thomas, and we don't have that. Now, we could get Earl Thomas, right? I mean, technically, he is a free agent, but Earl Thomas doesn't make a whole lot of sense, in my opinion. He's kind of old. I don't think he's played football in 2 seasons. The Raiders have to get a free safety, right? Like, there's just no way around it. Now, there's 2 guys that I would get, and I would take either of them with the 17th pick. I don't care. If Gus Bradley is confident that one of those guys is his guys, and who I'm talking about is a TCU safety Trayvon Morag and UCF safety Richie Grant. Either of those 2 guys, I am confident that one of those 2 guys can get it done. Now, I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below or in the live chat here. Do you guys think that one of those 2 guys could be the future of the Raiders? Because we need a free safety, man. I was very disappointed when we passed up Anthony Harris, right? We let him go for $5 million. I know he's 30 years old, right? So don't get me wrong, and I totally understand that. But the Raiders could have still had a free safety that they did not have to worry about for the next 2 or 3 years, right? Even if that, we do, at least one freaking year. $5 million, man. I think he went to the Eagles. Don't quote me on that, but that was a mistake in my opinion. Now, obviously, he only got $5 million, which means that maybe teams don't think as highly of him as maybe I do or maybe some of you guys do. Because if he was the guy, if he's the possible guy that is gonna be the Raiders safety or free safety for at least this year and the next year, we would have got him, man. And obviously Gus Bradley doesn't have that confidence in him, right? It's interesting because outside of free safety, I also think that there is outside of free safety, I also think there's a couple other positions that the Raiders have to target. I think defensive tackle is still a position that we have to get. And before we move on, I want to give a shout out to T Ready. I'm going to read his comment, but before I read his comment, I want to let you guys know, if you guys are not, if you guys have questions, I see a lot of you guys are already asking questions. I'm going to try to go through these questions, every single one of them, or at least I'm going to try as many as I can get through. But if you have a question that you really want an answer to, leave a super chat, man. It's very helpful for me. This video is not monetized at all. YouTube already has demonetized it. I don't know for what reason, but every single one of my live streams, YouTube demonetizes it, which means that typically they'd show you guys an ad, but they're not going to, and maybe they will. I don't know, but basically they're not going to give me any of that. I don't know why they do that, but they do that on every single one of my live videos, which is kind of annoying, honestly. Also, they demonetized my Andre James video. If you guys watched that video, that was my number 1 video in the last like 5 months, right? It got almost 30,000 views, and they demonetized it, man. It seems like they take it seems like they take the revenue of like certain videos they know that are about to get a lot of views, right? I don't know. But either way, T-Ready, I really appreciate it. I'm gonna see if I can get that comment so that everybody could see it. No, it doesn't. Okay. So here's another thing that I've been working on. I want to be able to share with you guys when someone leaves like a super chat like T-Ready did here. I want you guys to be able to see exactly what was said. I'm going to actually just copy it here so you guys can see exactly what was said. Okay. Stay with me here. I promised you guys I'm going to get this fixed where everything will flow much better for you guys. With that, let's just get into this first super chat here. I'm going to make this smaller. So this comes from T-Ready. I really appreciate it. He left a $4.99 super chat. He said, I believe we're only struggling with run blocking because of the lack of an air threat. Every defense we play throws 9 in the box. Your thoughts? I could not agree more with you, man. You know, I watch film of the Raiders after every single game. Believe this or not, man, and I know some of you guys aren't going to believe me here. After the Raiders play a game, as soon as the All-22 film is ready, I go and I watch every single play, offense and defense, and I look at what we do, and then I look at what the defense does, right? And then I'll compare that to the next play and the play after and the play after, just to see, like, internally what's going on. Like, are the Raiders making proper adjustments? Are they not, right? One of the things that I see, and it really ticks me off, and this is why I love the fact that the Raiders went out and got Kenyon Drake, is every time Josh Jacobs was in the game last year, every single time, right, in a base 21 formation, right, 21 personnel, the Raiders would have Josh Jacobs, Alec Ingold, Darren Waller, 2 receivers, and basically the defense would put 8 guys in the box, right, or 9 guys in the box, and they would 1,000% just commit to Josh Jacobs, to shutting him down. And I saw over and over and over again that anytime Josh Jacobs was in the game, you got 8 guys in the box every single time. And then the second Josh Jacobs comes out and Devontae Booker or Jalen Richard comes into the game, they take that 8-man box and they bring the guys out. And it pisses me off because, you know, John Gruden has to be able to do more, right? You have to, when Josh Jacobs is in the game, run some more play actions and throw it deep, right? I made this comment in a chat that a Raiders chat that I'm in. John Gruden needs to throw the ball deep once every 5 or 6 plays next year, right? Like, you have to throw the ball deep. And I'm not over exaggerating that. Every 4, 5, or 6 plays, you throw that ball deep because we have speed, right? We have Willie Snead, we have Henry Ruggs, and we have John Brown. And of course, Darren Waller, who you throw him a 50-50 ball deep, the favor shifts his way to like an 80-20, right? If he's single man, he'll make that catch. We need to take advantage of the speed we have, and we need to open the box up. You know, T-Ready makes the statement as well. And I don't think it's necessarily that we lack the air threat. I don't think that's necessarily what it is. I do think that last season specifically, we weren't really healthy from like a wide receiver standpoint, and our wide receivers really weren't that good, right? You have Henry Ruggs, who's a rookie. it's going to impact you, right? You're not going to be able to do some of those things that you might be able to do with a veteran, right? Or someone who has 3, 4, 5 years in the league. That's why Henry Ruggs going into the second year, it's going to be so much better for the Raiders, man. Henry Ruggs will be able to understand how to run from one side of the field to the boundary, right? If he's running a post, and he'll know exactly what to do to maybe turn the safety, turn the corner. He'll know how to run better routes. There's so much more that he's gonna do. Plus, he's been working out a lot, right? So that should help him as well. But the run blocking did struggle this past year, in my opinion, primarily because of the fact that teams are stacking the box, and that wasn't the only reason, right? That would be unfair to Gruden as well as Carr to like put the blame on that reason only. Our O-line at times were losing as well, right? Rather it was Rodney Hudson getting beat on one play or Gabe Jackson on the next, or maybe it was like Sam Young or Trent Brown or Brandon Parker or Colt Miller or Richie or whoever else was in the game. It'd be at like different times these guys would lose, right? And you guys go look back and you guys go rewatch the Raiders games. Every single week, any week, take any game, rewatch it, and count how many times Josh Jacobs gets hit in the backfield. Or there's a guy in the backfield and Josh Jacobs has to make someone miss in the backfield, right? It happened too many times, in my personal opinion, last year. But with that being stated, I also want to get back into this. We talked about the O-line. I don't have an issue with it. We talked a little bit about the free safety position and how I would take either Morek or Grant, right, the two college kids that are coming out into the draft this year, with the 17th pick, if that's what it took. But at the same time, I would honestly 1,000% consider taking Christian Barmore. And I know some people are kind of against this, right? I read you guys' comments. I see what all of you guys say all the time. Believe it or not, man, you guys might not believe me here. Every single video, I read all the freaking comments. And I see all your guys' comments all the time. In my personal opinion, I think the Raiders, even though I do think that the D-line has improved, right? I don't expect much from Solomon Thomas. Like, I just don't. I don't expect a ton from... honestly, I don't expect a whole ton from Clelin Ferrell. Like, I expect maybe 6 to 7 sacks max from Clelin Ferrell, unless he just takes like this crazy step, right? I think Clelin Ferrell is going to take a little bit longer to develop. Now, here's the thing, right? I wouldn't label him a bust, right? For example, Solomon Thomas, the Niners have already written him off and they've already labeled him a bust. I don't think Clelin Ferrell is there, right? I think Clelin Ferrell still has a potential to his game. Max Crosby's a good player, but the inside still does scare me, right? I am a fan of Kendall Vickers. I think Kendall Vickers is going to be a great player for the Raiders. And some of you guys might not agree with me on this, man. Some of you guys might think that I'm over-exaggerating, but Kendall Vickers is a good freaking player. And trust me on that one. He's a really, really good player. But see, here's the thing, right? Outside of Kendall Vickers, outside of like our defensive ends in Yannick, Ngagwe, Cleveland, and Max, we still don't have that true defensive tackle who's going to get 10 sacks, 15 sacks, right? Like Aaron Donald, Quinn Williams. These guys are consistent pass rushers. We don't have that. I do think Quentin Jefferson was a great pickup as well. With that being stated, I think if Christian Barmore is there, the Raiders need to grab him at 17. In my personal opinion, I would take Christian Barmore before I take a tackle or safety if he is there, because I think he's going to be a game changer. The Raiders for too long have neglected the defensive tackle position, and it's time to stop neglecting it. We need to get the guy, man. We need to get the defensive tackle that's going to be the guy there for the next 10 years. I think Christian Barmore is that guy. He's a beast, and he dominates when he's healthy, right? And that's the key, right? He wasn't healthy the first 6 to 7 games of this past season. And when I watched his film, and I thought, what the hell? Like, why is this guy ranked as the #1 defensive tackle? He's not that good. I later found out that he was hurt. But then week 7 to 8, he really got healthy, and he started dominating. So I would take him, man. I would take him if he's there. But I wouldn't be mad. You take a defensive tackle, a right tackle, or a free safety, I'd be perfectly fine with it. And I'd be super pissed off if we took another wide receiver or if we took someone else like that, right? The only offensive playmaker I would take at 17 is if somehow Florida tight end Kyle Pitts fell to the 17th pick, which he's not going to. But if he did, I would take him. I think, you have 2 or 3 really good tight ends, our offense would be through the roof. I want to do another super chat here. This one comes from I Kneel for One. And let me see if I can get this in here correctly. He said, Sanjit, what about running more double tight end plays with play action? I totally agree with you, man. First and foremost, right? You're spot on with something. And I don't think people understand this. The Raiders got, obviously we have Darren Waller, but the Raiders went and got Foster Moreau for a reason, right? And thank you for the super chat, by the way. I Kneel for One. I really appreciate the super chat. The Raiders went out and got Jason Witten to come in to do a little bit, right? But we went and really brought in Jason Witten because we knew Foster Moreau was not healthy. He was not healthy this past season. So we had Darren Waller, who is the best or one of the top 2 or 3 best tight ends in the league. And then at the same time, you have a guy like Foster Moreau. And I've stated this. If Foster Moreau had, if he was the number 1 tight end on, let's just say, a team like the Patriots, right? And the Patriots didn't have the 2 tight ends that they just signed. Let's just say it was Foster Moreau. He was their number 1 guy. I think he puts up 1,000 yards. Like, I think the guy is talented. This is the year that the Raiders are going to run more 2 tight end sets because Foster Moreau is healthy. He's going to be back. You guys can mark my words right now. Foster Moreau will have at least 700 yards this season. I am very confident in him. If you guys watch I think he only had like 6 catches last year. And don't quote me on that, but I know it's a pretty low amount that Foster Moreau had. The thing is what Moreau does for the Raiders right now is Darren Waller is going to beat whoever it is. Henry Ruggs beats whatever corner it is. Foster Moreau has linebackers on him. A linebacker is not going to be able to cover him. And this is his 3rd year. This is going to be the year that he's going to prove, in my opinion, to the league that he's the real guy. Or he's the real deal, right? I think the Raiders are going to run double tight ends, play actions way more. I love Alec Ingold, don't get me wrong, but if I had it my way, I wouldn't use a fullback. I think it's not needed, right? Fullbacks, yeah, they're good at blocking, but you can do the same thing that a fullback does with the tight end, right? You can have Foster Moreau lined up on the end, right? Let's say here's your left tackle when you have Foster Moreau out here. You can have him from way out here do exactly what Alec Ingold does from just being right in front of the running back, right? Again, I love Alec Ingold, and I'm glad that the Raiders had the confidence in him his rookie year because I was wrong. I was super wrong on Alec Ingold, right? I was saying that the Raiders should keep, at that time, I think it was Keith Smith. I was saying that if Gruden wants a true blocking fullback, keep Keith Smith, right? Obviously, Gruden decided to go his own way, right? So thank you for the super chat. Kaiser Obakan. He said, good stuff, bro. Keep it up. Raider Nation strong. I appreciate you as well. Thank you for the super chat. Ryan Campbell sent $1. I appreciate your super chat. You didn't leave a comment. So I really, really appreciate that. There's another one right here. I'm going to actually put this on the screen. And this one's a good question. So let's get into this one. And then I have some questions, some determined, I guess would be the proper word. I have some questions that some of you guys have asked me that I want to answer. This one comes from Dick Vatil. He said, we have to get one of the top O-line. Most of the O-line are not NFL ready because these colleges are not running pro-style defenses. And that's a good point. That is one of the issues that GMs, offensive coaches, offensive line coaches, that is one of the issues that they have. If you guys don't know what he's referring to, basically it's because of the fact that offenses in college football, not only do they not play NFL ready defenses necessarily as far as from a front position, a lot of the time you never put your hand down, right? As an offensive tackle or offense guard in college, you're just in a 2-point stance. So if you guys don't know, a 2-point stance is basically being in a pass blocking stance with your hands either on your knees or you cross them or whatever you want to do. But basically, it's not putting your hand in the actual dirt, right? If you put your hand in the dirt, that's a 3-point stance. In college, you're in a 2-point stance like 90% of the time. And that too, you look at a team like USC, right? USC throws the ball 80% of the time. Like, they hardly run it. That too, if they do run it, they only run out of shotgun, right? So there's only so many different types of blocks that offensive linemen can make when it comes to like shotgun runs, right? Because a lot of the time it's like they're stretch plays or they're like counters right through the middle. So it makes it tough for coaches and GMs to scout offensive linemen. And I agree with that. But the thing is a lot of these guys, if you know that this is, let me give you guys an example. Tevin Jenkins, for example, from Oklahoma State. He went up against a defensive end from Texas A&M, Joseph. I don't know how to say his last name. I think it's Joseph Osaya. Joseph Osaya was ranked as a first-round prospect, right? People were saying this guy's going to be a very good player. He's a first-round pick. Tevin Jenkins went into that game, and he whooped Joseph Osaya's ass badly. Like, he whooped his ass. There was a block where Tevin Jenkins took that defensive end from Texas, and he drove him out of bounds, and he laid his ass out. That play, when you watch Tevin Jenkins make those plays against a guy who you're saying is going to be in the first round, and he whoops his ass like that, you know that this guy's the real deal, right? So even though you might not see every single block that this guy has made, when you see those types of plays, you know this is the real deal. That was one of the issues with Colton Miller. A lot of people, when I watched Colton Miller back then in college, a lot of people talked about how he was shitty in pass blocking, right? And that came true his rookie year, right? He gave up 17 sacks his rookie year. I think he gave up 7 sacks even in his second season. And that was the thing that people talked about over and over and over and over again. People talked about how Colton Miller was not a good pass blocker in college. And that too, the thing was UCLA that year ran the ball a lot. So he didn't pass block a ton. And that was the Josh Rosen years. But the thing was he was in a offense that got him ready for the NFL. And that was one of the reasons why the Raiders took him, right? They saw that potential, right? And that takes me to another point. There's another offense tackle from Texas who Samuel Cosme, if you guys don't know who he is, he's the Colton Miller clone, man. But the only difference is he did, I think, 36 bench press reps, which is insane. For being as light as he is, I think he's like 6'7". He weighed, I think, 307 pounds or something like that. He did 36 bench press reps. For being that tall and doing that many reps, that's impressive in my opinion, man. There's another super chat. Let me make sure I didn't skip any here. The next one comes from Boy George Strait. Let me get this one in here, and just so you guys can see it. And then I have a couple of questions, and I promise I want to get into these next questions as well, because some of you guys asked me these questions, and for the most part, they're fun questions. Again, I do apologize, right? The way I'm kind of doing it, I'm copying and pasting it in right now onto the screen. I apologize. I will have that fixed. I don't go live enough to know exactly when a super chat's sent to just have it pop up on the screen. I'll figure it out and I'll have it done, and I'll get it fixed. This one comes from Boy George Strait. He said, I'm against us playing so many players out of their natural position. Joyner, Farrell, Amik, Good, etc. That is a good point. Having players not play their primary position, it does make a difference, right? Amik Robertson is a good example of that, right? Amik Robertson was a pretty solid corner in college football, and he wasn't playing slot in college. He was playing on the outsides. And for those of you guys that don't know what difference that would make, basically, if you're on the outside, you have the outside boundary, right? Like the out of bounds, right? You have that to one side. So let's say you're a left corner. You know that 4 yards to your left, the receiver's going to run out. So you can position your body a certain way, and it helps you out. Now, that's if you're practicing playing on the outside. On the inside, it's a completely different game. There is no, 4 yards away, it's out of bounds. You don't get that. So for Amik Robertson, it's going to be a huge transition to go from playing outside corner to the inside. It makes a big difference. And I don't like moving an outside corner to slot corner. And I'll agree with you there. As far as Cleveland Farrell, I think he's a defensive end. I'm going to assume you're saying that you don't like him playing defensive tackle. I don't either. I think Cleveland Farrell needs to play defensive end 100% of the time. As far as Denzel Good, I don't even know what Denzel Good is. Like, I remember before he came to the Raiders, I think he was on the Colts. I'm pretty sure he was a right tackle on the Colts, and then he came to the Raiders and he played guard. So with Denzel Good, it kind of works out, right? Either way, I appreciate the super chats. There's one more here. I'm gonna get into that, but first, I am going to answer one of the questions that was sent to me in this WhatsApp group chat that I have. But before we get into that, let me put this in here really quickly. All right. I'm going to get into this next one here. Man, a lot of you guys are leaving a ton of comments. It's going super fast, but okay, I'm going to jump into this next question here. Okay, this was one of the questions that you guys asked, and I think it's a really good question because a lot of you guys don't really know about me, right, and my background. I know some of you guys have because I've talked about it in the past. This question was basically keep up the film studies. I appreciate you taking questions. Where did you learn to break down film, and did you play football? This is the question that a lot of you guys have asked. Sometimes people reference it when they call me an idiot and they call me stupid and stuff like that. People will say like, oh, did you even play football, blah blah blah. So I did play football. And where did I learn to break down film? So where I learned to break down film, I would say there's two parts to that question. First, I would say actually playing football. When I was younger and I initially got into football, I used to play tight end. I played defensive end. I played linebacker. And then as I got into high school, I had to make that decision, right? Did I want to play tight end? Did I want to play a different position like defensive end, defense tackle, guard? I actually ended up playing offensive line, right? I started playing right guard. And I think and I played defensive tackle as well, but I was primarily a right guard. And I think like playing right guard, but in the past have played a position like tight end, linebacker. I feel like I kind of learned like how to take angles, how to do certain things that then when I started playing guard, I feel like I learned, when I go and block a linebacker, I know what the linebacker is going to do to beat me, right? I know that from the right guard position, when there's a linebacker right in front of me and the place to my left, I know that I'm going to run to a slight angle to cut that guy off, right? I learned things like that playing football. But at the same time, we used to do our film studies every single week with our offensive line coach. So I picked up a lot of stuff like that. And I played a total of like 6 or 7 years. So I played a pretty long time, right? And I think, a lot of you guys have also asked me this. Do you plan to coach or did you coach? And I never coached. I do think that in the future, there is a strong possibility I will coach. I think for the short term, not coaching made sense for me. When I actually originally got into college, I was going to play football in college. After realizing that this isn't something that I can do in the long run, at that time, I weighed a little bit more, right? Today I weighed like 200 pounds. At that time I weighed like 285. But going into college, you see that even though I was at a community college, right? You see that there's so many humongous ass players, right? Like every single offensive lineman was like 6'3", 6'4", 320 pounds, right? You realize that, okay, this isn't something that I want to do long term anyways. So I went ahead and decided not to play and continue playing football, but getting into whatever career I decided to pick, which actually leads me, I guess, to the next question. One of you guys asked me, let me actually just get it up. One of the questions you guys also asked me was, love your channel, bro. What do you do for work? Would you change that? And that's a really good question because I talk to a lot of you guys, right, on Instagram, on Twitter, and I can't talk to every single one of you guys because if I tried to respond to every single one of you guys, it would take me like 3 days, right? But I read a lot of you guys' comments, and I try to go back and forth with you guys via DMs. Um, a lot of you guys tell me what you guys do for work, right? Like, it's crazy because a lot of you guys, there's people who are, who own small businesses, right? Like maybe they're a plumber and they have their own small business. Some of you guys are lawyers, or, some of you guys might be doctors, right? So the Raider Nation, there's like a variety of people in the Raider Nation. Personally, what I do for work is I work as an accountant outside of actually making like YouTube videos and stuff like that. And the second part is, would you change that? And the answer is yes, I would 100% change that. I've been working for I think 3 or 4 years now, and one of the things that I realized is accounting is not my passion, right? Like when I went to school, it's something that I kind of just chose. That hey, I'm gonna get into accounting, right? I had family members that were accountants. And it's kind of something that I just chose. And when I picked that path, I was 18 years old, right? So like, it's not like I really knew what I wanted to really do. But today, if I could go back and change that, I would, right? I would get into football, right? If I could have made a career out of it, I would have. And that's actually my goal, right? I've kind of stated this to a couple of people recently. I'm going to move forward and get out of being a accountant, and I really want to turn this YouTube channel as well as my second YouTube channel, right? That's actually the main reason why I opened that second channel, is I want to get away from being an accountant. I don't want to do that, right? That's not my passion. My passion is football. So in the short term, I will continue doing, the job that I'm doing right now, but my long-term goal, and by long term, hopefully within the next 1 to 2 years, I can get out of that and just do this full time. Right now, it's not a full time job for me. It just doesn't work with the amount of income that I make from YouTube. It's not worth it. If that second channel gets to where this channel's at, I might be able to retire from working from that and just follow my passion. I want to get into some of the questions that you guys asked me, because I think the questions you guys asked me are probably a little bit better. Again, I really appreciate the super chats. Alex D just became a premium member. If you guys aren't a premium member, go become a premium member, man. I try to post as much as I can. Boy George Strait, I appreciate your comment. You've obviously been around for a long time, so I appreciate that. Travis Pierce left a super chat, and he's asking the question, and I'm going to put it on the screen for you guys. All right, this is something that's interesting, man. This is something I want to talk to you guys about. Who takes the biggest step forward in the DB room? I want to talk to you guys about this, all right? So you guys know that I recently did an interview with Max Crosby, and I asked him specifically, I said, hey, Max, who is the one guy, in your opinion, who has superstar potential, all right? And at the same time, I told him, it's okay if you don't want to name just one guy, you can name 2 or 3 guys. Max Crosby flat out said, without a hesitation, that the guy that's going to be a superstar is Jonathan Abram. And it's the same guy that I've been saying. Like, Jonathan Abram is the guy. He's going to be the future of this team. Max Crosby, man, without hesitation, said that he believes Jonathan Abram is the guy. And in my opinion, who takes the biggest step forward in the DB room? It has to be him, right? It has to be Jonathan Abram. If you guys don't follow him on Instagram, basically every single day, Jonathan Abram is out there working. Every single day, he's putting in the effort. He's putting in the work. He's doing it. And that right there is something that you can't tell me that when a player puts in 1,000% effort, when he's going every single day and working hella hard, trying to be the best that he could be, he'll get there, right? That's the only way to become great, is by putting in the effort and putting in the work. And Jonathan Abram does it. He puts in all the effort. He puts in all the work. I 100% feel that Jonathan Abram is going to be the superstar. Because not only has players stated that he's going to be the guy, right? Max Crosby. Other players have stated the same thing, right? In other interviews, saying that they believe Jonathan Abram is going to be the best player on the Raiders, right? Another thing, right? I asked Max Crosby. That you can name multiple players. He also named Trayvon Mullen. He said Mullen's the real deal, and it's crazy because I watch Mullen, I watch Arnett, and between the two, to me, it also kind of seems like Mullen has it a little bit more, right? Like he's better around the ball, right? He plays the ball a little bit better, and it kind of spoke for itself, right? I think he had 2 or 3 interceptions this past year, and he had multiple dropped interceptions as well. So don't forget that, right? I do think that I 100% do think that Abram and Trayvon Mullen are going to be really good players for the Raiders. Got to keep in mind, right? When you have a guy like Paul Gunther, that's going to hinder, 100% hinder what happens and how these players actually end up performing. Another player that I think has a potential, and this isn't in the DB room specifically, this is just on the defense as a whole. I think Jonathan Hankins. And I know Hankins, he's been here for a couple of years with the Raiders. He's been in the league for a couple of years. I believe he came out in 2017 from Ohio State, or maybe it was 2016. He's been in the league for, I think, 5 or 6 years, and he's not that. I think he's like 28, 29. He's getting up there in age. Most people, right, analytics, coaches, most of these guys, GM scouts, whatever, most of these guys would agree that Jonathan Hankins is one of the top 5 best run defenders in the league. You can make a name for yourself as a sole run defender. A ton of guys have done it, right? Linville Joseph comes to mind, like recently, Vince Wilfork. These guys made their names by just being shut down. I plugged the whole entire middle. No one can block me. And that's exactly what he does, right? I asked Max Crosby to name 3 guys. Abram, Mullen, and the final guy he named was Jonathan Hankins. He said these 3 guys have the chance to be superstars. I agree with it, man. I 100% agree with it. I think these guys absolutely have the chance to be superstars. I want to get into the next super chat. So thank you for that one. That was Travis Pierce. I really appreciate that. That's a really good question. Again, there's a lot of you guys asking a ton of questions. Once this video ends, I will go through these questions, and then most likely next Sunday, I will go live again, probably around the same time, and I will take like 5 or 6 of the best non-super chat questions, and I will answer those. And the super chat questions, I will get into those as we're live. There's 2 more that I still want to get into, and if more come, I'll continue to answer those. I really appreciate it, man. These super chats really do mean a lot, by the way. This video, I mentioned it earlier if you guys weren't here. YouTube has already demonetized this video. I don't know why, but every single live stream, they demonetize it. I also mentioned my Andre James video, which was the video I put out a week or 2 ago, probably about a week ago. That video was my #1 video over the last 2, 3, or 4 months. A long time, right? Almost 30,000 views, demonetized. YouTube knows exactly which videos are in there that hit their algorithm, which videos are going to get those views. They demonetize it, but oh well, I'm not complaining, right? Edgar Bonilla said, and I apologize if I say your name wrong. I'm horrible with names. I'm going to get into this next one here. Okay, so I did touch on this just a little bit earlier. So the question is, Tevin Jenkins, Moreg, or Richie Grant at 17? I would take any of these guys, man. Flat out. You give me any one of those 3 guys, I would take it. Now here's the thing, right? And this is, I guess this is gonna be my personal opinion on this, right? Mike Mayock takes whatever player he thinks can be a superstar. He doesn't care what Mel Kiper says. He doesn't care what John Lynch says. He doesn't care what, whoever the next guy is, Colin Cowherd. He doesn't care what any of these guys say. He cares about one thing and one thing only. He cares about what he sees on film with his own eyes. Trayvon Mullen has been ranked as a top 25 player. Richie Grant, for the most part, has been ranked as a anywhere from, I'd say, like pick 30 to pick 60, right? No one has been saying Richie Grant is a first-round player. No one's been saying that. However, if the film speaks for itself, if Mike Mayock puts the film on, and if Mike Mayock thinks that Richie Grant is worth it at pick 17, then Mike Mayock should take him. There's no guy. Colin Coward, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp. These guys can't tell you that your player, the player that you want, is worth it or isn't worth it, and you're reaching or you're gonna draft the bust, because they said that with Colton Miller. And what's Colton Miller doing now, right? He had a great season last year, and they were saying he was a reach, he's a bust, blah blah blah, and he's a great player right now. So, but if you left it up to me to say which of the three do you want, it's so hard, man. It's so hard because I'd be fine with any of them. I'd probably take Tevin Jenkins, to be 100% honest with you guys. I think Tevin Jenkins is going to be a great player in the NFL, man. He's nasty. If you guys haven't, I made a video of Tevin Jenkins on my secondary YouTube channel. Go click that. Go search it. Just put in Sanjit in YouTube and it'll come up. I think Tevin Jenkins is a great player. I think he's going to be a great player in the NFL. There's another super chat. There's a couple of super chats here. Again, I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. Danny Garcia left a $10 super chat with no comment. I really appreciate you, man. Like, that means a lot, man. And it's hard-earned money. You know, all you guys that have left super chats, it's hard-earned money that you guys earn, and you guys are, you know, giving it to me, and I really appreciate it. My voice is kind of going out here. My throat is hurting a little bit, so I guess I can't talk for too long nowadays, right? Travis Pierce left another super chat. Biggest gripe with Gunther and plus for Bradley. Biggest gripe with Gunther, question mark, and plus. So I'm not 100% sure what your question is. But I'll say this, man. Paul Gunther's trash. He's a horrible defensive coach. And Gus Bradley's only going to be better, man. And I apologize because you did leave a super chat, and I'm not 100% sure what the comment means. I do appreciate it, though. Chevy Silver Raider, I really appreciate you, man. You left a $5 super chat. I'm going to actually just end this video in a second here, giving you guys my final thoughts. My voice is going out here. I typically don't do videos this long. But with that, I do want to just let you guys know, you know, all of the super chats really mean a lot. It really does. And I do want to go live more often. Unfortunately, what ends up happening is YouTube's going to demonetize this video, which means that and it's fine, right? It's not the end of the world. I don't really care. But it does demotivate you to make content if YouTube's going to just take all your money from it. Because, you know, live video is fine, right? I went live. I spent an hour doing this, plus the 20-30 minutes before this to just kind of prep for the video. But what ends up happening is, like, you know, and I know the other Raiders content creators can tell you guys the same thing. We put in so much time, we put in so much effort to make these videos, to go live and talk to you guys. You know, it's not just you know, if you see a video of mine that says 25 minutes, don't think I only spent 25 minutes making that video. Chances are I spent 3 times that amount of time, and maybe even longer, right? Depends on the type of video it is. And I know the other Raiders content creators would agree with me. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time, especially if you're working a 9-to-5, or if you have like another job, right? I do have another job. I work as an accountant. You know, and I have a family, right? I'm married. I have a wife. So it takes away from that, right? To make content. But at the end of the day, it's absolutely worth it, right? Like, YouTube does technically pay you out for advertisement. But then it's demotivating when you go live and YouTube's like, well, I don't really care. We're going to take all your money. A $1 billion company doesn't care about the little people, right? Unfortunately, I don't know why they continue to do it, but hopefully, you know, maybe I can reach out to them. Maybe I can get that fixed somehow. But when you guys leave these super chats, it actually makes it worth it, right? It makes it worth it when I end up with $30 worth of super chats, because then for an hour worth of my time, I just made $30, and that pays the bills, right? Like, you know, it makes it worth it, right? At the end of the day. So, I do want to wrap this video up with saying that I do plan to go live more often. I will continue making at least 3 to 4 videos every single week on this channel. I have a second channel. If you guys aren't already subscribed, just search Sanjit in the YouTube, youtube.com. It should come up. It's 100% committed to, is 100% committed to college and NFL in general, but primarily college. If you guys are interested in college football all 22 film, hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, but probably Twitter. Instagram's super backed up. Twitter, at least try to go through all those. So yeah, but someone said you should set up a GoFundMe page for your donations. That would be cool, but I don't think I don't think it needs to go there. I think it's still a side business. YouTube is, and I do think that over time, obviously it will be able to be turned into a full time for me, right? And I can get away from working my 9 to 5. I see a couple more super chats coming in. I want to read those because it's absolutely important. If you guys are giving your money away to me, I need to go through these, man. It's not cool if I don't. Kevin Lurker said, "You're always grinding." Thanks. Thank you. I see all of your comments. I know you comment on every single video. I try to respond, but I can't respond to every single comment. But I appreciate you always watching and always commenting. That's very important. Some people I know don't even watch the video, which is fine. They just go there to comment. That's perfectly fine too, right? I do that with certain videos as well. Commenting, it still adds to the video, right? Because then other people can go and put their comments, and it's a place for us to interact, right? I say this all the time to like people that I talk to. The YouTube video is one thing, but the comments is like a common place that all of us can come to talk, share our thoughts, share our opinions, because that's the kind of stuff that we want to talk about, right? That's the kind of stuff, like, I don't really know any good place to really go to talk, right? To talk about Raiders. I like using YouTube comments. I think it's a good place, especially with the people that keep their names consistent. Right, the ones that keep their names consistent, because I can recognize a lot of these, right, especially the super chats. So I appreciate that, Kevin. Mike, I don't know how to say your last name, and I apologize. Mike Nezer says, "Do you think Twyman is worth a 3rd or 4th round consideration? Am I wrong for liking him? He's a gap shooter and fits the scheme and weight." So he's referring to Pitt defensive tackle Jalen Twyman. I think he might go in the 1st round. Honestly, I know that might be a reach, but there is a chance. I've been hearing a lot in the draft community that he might end up in the 1st round. I also see another, just real quick, I see another tall can chit say we passed on Devin White. And he did a mad face. I agree, man. If you guys have been following me since that draft, I wanted Devin White. I was saying the Raiders need to take him with the 4th overall pick. Devin White's a game changer, man, and the Raiders need to get a game-changing linebacker. So if Micah Parsons, Jock, or even Jamin Davis is there, I'd take one of those guys, man. And Jock is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, just so you guys don't know who that is. But back to Mike's comment, I would take Jalen Twyman without a doubt. Maybe not the 17th pick unless we're 100% certain with him. But I would take him in the 2nd round if he's there. I think he's going to end up going top 40 or 50. Unfortunately, he opted out of the 2020 season. Had he not, and let's say he had a good season, he would have been a top 20 pick, in my opinion, if he built on his 2019 season. George Torres said, "Much love. I really appreciate you, bro. Like, I really do." Javier Lopez, love watching your videos and seeing your insight. Appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you. I see all your comments as well. Danny Garcia left another $10 super chat. I really appreciate it. You didn't leave a comment the first time, but this time you said, "Love the channel. Keep it up, bro." I really appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you. You gave me $20 today, and that's huge. So I really appreciate you. By the way, I didn't say it. Happy birthday to Derek Carr. I know Derek Carr is not watching this video. He probably doesn't like me based off of some of the stuff that I've said in the past. But happy birthday. I hope you win a Super Bowl this upcoming year, man. I'm going to be rooting for you. Another super chat. Alex D said, "Don't you have to cover in order to be a safety? Abrams would be better served as an outside linebacker." That is a good point. The thing is Jonathan Abram is basically going to be an outside linebacker, right? Technically, he's going to be an outside linebacker in this Gus Bradley system. And what I mean by that is Jonathan Abram will be on the line of scrimmage 98% of the time, which means he's basically an outside linebacker, right? Even though he's not really an outside linebacker, he'll be on the line of scrimmage or around the line of scrimmage 95+% of the time. And he is not good in coverage. Or I wouldn't say he's not necessarily good. He's not great in coverage. But Jamal Adams is not great in coverage as well. And Jamal Adams is one of the best safeties in the league. Again, it's not all about coverage, right? It's all the other little things: shutting the run down, tackling, setting the tone, pumping your players up, man. That kind of stuff absolutely matters. So, Alex D, I appreciate your super chat, and I agree with your comment there. I think he is going to be playing a little bit more of that outside linebacker role. Last super chat, Dick Vattel once again said, "Love your content, is definitely top shelf." Thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Sunday. I know Sundays typically suck, man. It's 5 o'clock, you get that Monday work feeling, or if you guys are going to school, you got that school feeling. I used to hate Sundays, man, especially when I used to go to school. But it's crazy. Now you get older, you kind of miss those days, right? When I used to be in high school and you didn't really have any stress, or you didn't really have to worry about anything. I appreciate the super chat. The last one said, "I love your work and your channels, Antonio Avila." I really appreciate it, man. I hope you guys all have a great day, man. I'm going to end the video here, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Thank you, guys.